What is up, guys? Zane from the Zane Madden YouTube channel. The knockout meta, it's a problem and makes throwing down the sideline very, very tough. A lot of players are going to a defense where you're basically going to see cover 3 or cover 4 as a zone drop, not necessarily match coverage, with hard flats and their outside players having those KOs on the sideline. So today's video is going to show you a cheeky little setup that's going to allow you to throw the ball into a pocket of the zone by using the regular quarterback playmaker. This is also going to allow you to kind of max protect, maybe steal a first down. Like I said, probably once a game. It's not really a super base offense tip as much as a mix in for your play. So let's go ahead and hit straight to the field here. We are going to run just kind of a outside KO, standard hard flat meta, cover 4 being very, very popular. You'll see this out of dollar, out of 3-3, out of nickel over G. And what we're going to do to attack this is utilize a trips formation. So you guys could use trips tight end, trio, tray Y flex, anything that has 3 receivers. Typically want 3 receivers and not 2 receivers in a tight end because you're not gonna be able to use the hot route that I'm gonna show you here. And that is gonna be the redirected whip route. So I'm gonna choose gun trio halfback weak here. And let's kind of mimic the meta that I'm talking about. A lot of players are gonna play kind of a cover 4 and they're gonna lurk in the middle of the field on this user. And the reason that they wanna do this is they wanna have these KOs, like for instance, the deep zone KO on Darren Woodson's field pass item to kind of play the sideline. As we know, if we were to run a streak, he's obviously gonna play that in his zone, but the KO ability makes throwing a corner route while running a streak to try to run off that zone very difficult. So you have to kind of find your extra yardage in other manners. So this is where this tip is going to come in. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a route combination in which we drive off the outside player, we occupy the flat zone, and we utilize a whip route that's going to go into the flat late. And this is basically going to pull the 2 primary zones in the area of the field. Now, the user typically is not going to run into the hard flat with this particular route because there's help there. And he's not really thinking that you're going to use a playmaker once or twice a game. So when we go ahead and do this, I'm going to let the user kind of just sit in the middle of the field. We'll kind of mimic them standing like here. What we're going to do is we are going to, as soon as that whip breaks back to the outside, we're going to hit the right analog stick up, and that's going to send Larry Fitzgerald into this void on the sideline, which allows us to pick up major yardage. I would say that when you guys flick the analog stick up on this, I'm not necessarily going straight to 12 o'clock. I would say this is more of a 2 o'clock playmaker. So if you're thinking of your controller as, the thumbstick as a clock, point the stick to 2 o'clock. So what we're going to do here is you're going to see we get this little whip route. And we've got the flat zone on the outside. It's basically being pulled by Julio Jones. We've got the deep zone down the sideline. That's going to be pulled by Jerry Rice. You now see that this route is going to break away from the user. And now we are going to flick the analog stick up to 2 o'clock, which tells him, hey, change direction and get upfield. If you kind of imagine where he's going and you think 2 o'clock from this point of view, if sideways is 12 o'clock, and we pointed it to 2 o'clock, that's exactly where he gets redirected to on this. Now, there is margin for error with this. Basically, the way the game is coded, it's not always going to send you to the exact same spot. But what you're going to find with this tip is that it's pretty consistent. You're going to be okay with this. Nothing is really going to lead you to trouble too often unless you like playmaker at left. So again, just kind of get in the vicinity of 2 o'clock and you'll see that he's going to go up the sideline and we can make this catch very easily. And you see right there, we're getting to the 40-yard line. That's a very substantial gain. Again, the design of this is kind of that really with this defense, not a lot of players can be playing Mabel. Mabel is more of a coverage that looks something like this. Obviously, if you are running into Mabel coverage, this is not necessarily going to be the best go because you're probably going to playmaker your guy straight up into a cloud flat or something. So again, you kind of see like right here, if I were to try to playmaker that up, there's going to be somebody there to defend that. So be careful with that. The other thing that you should consider with this tip is that it is a good combination, but it's only a 3 route combination. And the reason that I say that is if you try to add in a 4th route, let's say maybe like a running back Texas route, there's sometimes going to be a chance where when you go to do this playmaker, playmaker's the wrong guy. Not that there can't be a little bit of a luck value, but that's not what you're looking for here on this play. So again, be careful with this, especially if you add in the tight end or the running back into the equation. Get them vertical because you don't want them screwing up your setup. So right here, I'll just go ahead and put a post. And the reason you would put a post is maybe to kind of make the user react to it in the middle of the field. I mean, they're going to leave a hard flat threat to go guard the middle of the field. So Now, if you run something like this, you probably aren't going to run too much of a risk of that being a wrong playmaker. But again, as long as you've playmaker to 2 o'clock and not like 12 o'clock, you're not going to run the risk of him running into Polamalu right there. So I'm glad that I could kind of show you guys a mess up in that regard. It's almost going to sound a little weird, but it's really like you're playmakering your player to the right. You're not really playmakering up. You're telling him to go right from the direction he's running. So run this again here. When we go to this playmaker about 2 o'clock, and you see now he's getting into that void. We can get up the sideline, and you see right there, we actually pick up an extra block and make more out of it. So this can be a nice little beater for the zone coverage knockout meta. I'm going to leave that there. I think this is a really simple tip for you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed the tip. If you guys did, and you guys are looking for a little bit more against the deep out meta, I just put a vault update over on my strategy website, Gridiron Game Plans, where you guys can take a look at a couple routes that completely turn off the break on ball bonus for those sideline deep out KOs. So if you struggle with that, those routes will help you out. That's in our December 19th vault. Go check that out. And also, I've got a tactic on there that you guys can apply to any offense, kind of like this, but way, way better. And it gives you a lot more variability in the routes you can throw. And it is going to give the meta a lot of trouble. I think that this concept is going to become a thing a lot of players do on offense. And that's going to take over a little bit. And you're going to start to see other coverages have to be played. At least that's my hope with that. Go check that out in the vault. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in our next video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab, and good luck.